All right, and as we're piecing together what he had on him once he got in the building, there are so many questions about how he got in there at all. He did have an updated security clearance. He had that because he was a military subcontractor working on the IT systems in here. He was cleared to go into this facility before he went in yesterday and killed 12 people. So should that have happened at all? Should there have been more oversight? Greg Rinckey is a former attorney for the Army Judge Advocate General's office. Greg, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
One of the things I'm really hoping you can clear up for us is this. We have learned this morning that this man was honorably discharged from the Navy Reserves. Honorably discharged. However, the Navy is telling us at the same time there was a pattern of misconduct. Some of those incidents of misconduct that we suspect over the last few years include these arrests for incidents that involve guns. So how can you be honorably discharged with a pattern of misconduct?
Well, patterns of misconduct is an administrative discharge. It does not automatically result in a bad conduct discharge or a other than honorable discharge. So it is very possible to be discharged. Most people with patterns of misconduct are discharged usually with an other than honorable discharge or a general discharge. So I think we need to dig a little bit further into this to see if it was a general under honorable conditions discharge or a full honorable discharge.
Even so, not impossible it was honorable, just unusual. Certainly one of the things that needs to be cleared up as the day goes on. Another thing that needs a great deal of clarity is how do you get the security clearance with the pattern of misconduct that we've been discussing? You've worked in and around military installations like this. Are you familiar at all with these security procedures and how easily or not easily this clearance might be granted?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the tough questions in this case is going to be how did Mr. Alexis, how did he receive a security clearance? If he was administratively discharged from the Navy for patterns of misconduct, and it appears that some of that misconduct involved allegations of a firearm, also appears that he may have had some mental health issues that he was undergoing treatment for. How did he get a security clearance? I think that bears close scrutiny.
You've worked in the Army Judge Advocate General's office. This, of course, is a naval facility. Nevertheless, you've gone in and out of military installations like this, no doubt, countless times. How tight have the security procedures been? And in your experience, how difficult would it be for a man like this to get past the front door with a weapon?
Well, unfortunately, it's not very tough for someone who has security credentials, has the credentials to go on and off the base. And Mr. Alexis had valid credentials. I think what really bears some scrutiny here is should there be random checks of vehicles that are going on and off the base, even if they have valid ID. I know after 9/11, security was a lot tighter on most military posts, and they were randomly inspecting vehicles, even with security credentials.
You mentioned 9/11. What about after Fort Hood? One of the things we've talked a lot about on TV is the Fort Hood massacre. After that happened in Texas, should that have been a red flag that tightened security procedures all around at military installations?
Well, I think Fort Hood shooting was clearly an indicator that we need to look at mental health screening of our service members, and if there's issues, they bear closer scrutiny. It's a tough balancing act because of the number of people that go on and off these military bases. After 9/11, I was stationed out of Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, and it would routinely take an hour to get on the base because of the tight security. So it's really a balancing act of how much security can we have in order to be productive to get on and off the base.
And what is the cost, and were costs cut in trying to save some money despite the security needs of places like this? Greg Rinckey, thanks so much for being with us. Obviously, so many more questions we need answers to as the day continues. Appreciate it. Carol.